Good morning. My name is Betsy Mulligan-Day. I'm the director at the Jeannette Rankin Peace Center. And after many months of planning and envisioning today, I am just beyond delighted to welcome all of you here for Rising from the Ashes. How do we create peace from chaos, confusion, and conflict? I want to thank a few people for helping to put this on, helping get us with some of the supplies, the food and whatnot to make today happen. First of all, the United Congregational Church, 5 on Black, Rose Hours, Bernice's Bakery, Natural Grocers, Bagels on Broadway, Good Food Store, Pam Walzer, and Imagine Nation Brewery. So what I always do is encourage people to thank these sponsors with your business and make sure that you tell them that you appreciate their gift to the Jeannette Rankin Peace Center. We'd like to start off today with 4 very short lightning keynotes that will lay the foundation for our conversations here today, hopefully inspire you and make you think a little bit about what kind of spark your imagination about what our conversations here today will be. So first, I would like to bring up Lizzi Juda. She's the founder and director of The Hive, dancer, artist, creative, musician, extraordinaire. Lizzi.
Actually like for everyone to stand, please, to begin. Because when I'm thinking about, and you may want to put your things down that you have in your hands. I don't want to use this. I will not. And when I was thinking and meditating on this topic of how do we find peace in the midst of chaos, one of the practices I work with a lot is just finding your feet. So I'd like for all of us to start just by swaying a little bit from one foot to the other and feeling our feet contact. And then find a middle place, a grounded center. What feels centered to you? You can go forward and back a little bit, and side to side, and just find what is your center, what is your grounded place. Let your knees be soft a little bit. And then finding your connection with the sky. So you are a vessel of peace and of groundedness and of love and compassion that is connected from the sky all the way down to the earth. So no matter what chaos is going on in our lives, no matter what hardship or stress or nervousness, you are held by earth and sky. So just for one moment, taking a few deep breaths. You may want to close your eyes if that's comfortable. You may want to focus on this gorgeous tree in the middle. Just finding your center place, the very center of your body, finding your breath moving in and out. And relaxing for one moment, knowing that the earth and the sky are here with us. And then taking hands with the people next to you. And hopefully that second circle can reach. Chuck, if you would take it to that. And have in this community. So we're grounded in the earth, we're grounded in our bodies, we're grounded in our breath, and we have each other. So anytime life starts to get overwhelming, we can always reach for hands to help ground us and to help us remember who we really are in this grand scheme of deliciousness we call life. And again, just relax a little bit more, knowing that you are part of a tremendous web of activists and healers and lovers and teachers. You are not alone. Piece. If we could all turn this direction. And the back row, maybe if you can come a little closer somehow. We're going to put our left hand on the heart in front of us and our right hand on our own heart. So see if, hopefully this will work. And we might take a step.
We're going to have this direction.
Again, one more time, feeling your feet on the ground. Feeling your head connected to the sky. And now feeling your own beating heart. Feeling your passion and your inspiration. Your life. And feel your heart being cradled, not only by yourself, but your friend in the back of you. And again, just relaxing into knowing that you are supported and people have your back as you step out into the world doing all the amazing things that you do. And feeling your beating heart that's full of life as one heart that's been full of life on this earth since the beginning of time. We are one in a long, long chain. Taking that left hand and gently brushing down the back. Releasing any doubt that this friend may be carrying, any stress, any sense of being disconnected. Just let that brush away. And then turning toward the center again, and just take a look around for one moment at all of the beauty that's right here before us, all the commitment and the passion and the goodness. And just bow. And bow to yourself for coming and all the beautiful things you do.
Next, I would like to introduce Keiko Ozecki from joining us from Seattle. She's a director of the Institute of Peacebuilding and Healing at the Center for Ethical Leadership there. So delighted to have her here from Seattle.
Thank you very much for having me today. I just came here yesterday, and my friend in Seattle asked me to enjoy the big sky in Missouri, and I was able to. I have already started to enjoy the big sky and the big, beautiful mountain, beautiful birds, beautiful nature, and I really like being here. Thank you very much for having me today. So my work is peacemaking healing work. I bring a peacemaking circle to the communities, institutions, and also individuals in Seattle, especially focusing the local area. So what the title of the Unconference is creating the peace from chaos, confusion, and conflict. This is exactly what I'm doing. For example, I'm doing racial healing, racial relationship circle, and also community building, conflict resolution circle. So using peacemaking circle, I approach to the trying to create a peace, making peace. So that means that my peacemaking circle is not just like we are together. Of course, we would like to be like that. But the daily life, we have a lot of difficulties and cope with, trying to cope with. So what we are doing is try to create a peace first inside myself and create a ripple effect to outside. So one thing I just want to share today with you is so usually we are together, get acquainted, and we have agenda. I mean, having this problem, we need to fix it. And what is the solution? But we do not know each other yet. So that's why our way is try to find building the relationship and trust first, not only before focusing on the issue or agenda. So after that, if we are connected with each other, the issue or assumption is getting shrinking. And the real problem is much smaller than we expected. And after that, it's easy for us to work together and also solve the problem. And relationship and trust is very important, not only between you and me, but also you and you, because you are your life partner. So first, you would like to create your trust and relationship with you and create your own inner peace first. That helps us to create a peaceful relationship with others. And after that, we are able to reach to the problem, issue, or agenda we need to work on. So that's our philosophy. We cannot change others in the circle. We are always focusing on self and work on self and be a better person. And bring that energy to the circle, help us to work together. And we can be a better person together. So that's our way, philosophy or concept behind, under the peacemaking circle. This circle is coming from Tagi-Stringi, Yukon Territory, First Nation. We are learning from the tribe, and I really appreciate they share their wisdom with us. For example, if you'd like to hold wisdom like this, I don't want to share this one. It doesn't work for the earth. It doesn't work for the whole community, the global work. For example, I'm from Japan, and sushi, it's a very simple thing. Sushi is my own tradition, and some Japanese people say, no, sushi is my culture. Don't make sushi, please. That's my authentic. If I keep saying that, it doesn't work. So I would like to share my cultural wisdom to others. And I really, really admire Tagi-Stringi because they are open to share their own wisdom. And we can use their wisdom for our next generation, next generation, next generation. So I would like to stick with what I learned from that tribe, and I would like to introduce the same thing to people. I know that other people also have other practice, but that's amazing thing. But still we can share the wisdom together. So that's I just want to share today. Thank you.
Thank you, Keiko. Next, I'd like to ask Patrick Marsolek up. He is a therapist and facilitator, teacher, dancer, tango dancer, and I know him best as a nonviolent communication practitioner. So, Patrick.
I'll use the microphone a little bit, then I may abandon the microphone. We'll see how it goes. Yes, so coming in, invited here, I'm very honored to be here. And thinking a little bit about nonviolent communication, connecting around a language of life, what's alive in us. I'd like you all to think about something that you love. Could be a place, could be a person, could be something that you like to do. Got it? Just turn next and share what you love. Say, I love to someone next to you, what it is. Make sure you both get to speak. Feel that energy and take a breath. Can you think about something that you grieve for? Something you love that you lost or you feel your heart's crying about? Did you hear what I said? Everybody, can you think of that? Share that. I grieve for, and share that to someone next to you. I'll turn it on. Hello. Hello. So take that phrase and just stay with the sharing of that basic grief. You can finish your thought.
Oh, you guys have this for the children.
Finish that thought, come back into your breath, feel your body. You feel the aliveness that's in you, those two intentions, those two pieces. Martin Prechtel talks about praise and grief are two sides of the same thing. It's love. It's how we're connected to the universe. It's something that's led my life, my whole life, is this sense of being interconnected to the world. When we can take a moment and feel that, this is something that's alive in me, that I love, that I grieve for. Can you imagine moving from that place? If you do, the energy starts to move in the world. So I encourage you today to think about speaking from that place. Something that's alive in you. Out of that grief, when you see, this is a great metaphor what we have in front of us here for Montana, as we have it every summer. You know, the forest rages and we have this flames that take everything down, and that's what we see in the world. These things going on around disconnection, how our society is all disconnected and chaotic. It seems crazy and things die, and then out of that comes new life, new things are born. So just one short poem to speak to that. Bill Holm has a bit of advice for us. This love, the things you love and the things you grieve for. Imagine that you're attending to something vital inside of you. Bill Holmes says, someone dancing inside us learned only a few steps. As an aside, this is what the outer world tells us. The do your work in 4/4 time, the what do you expect waltz. This person inside of us, he hasn't noticed yet the woman standing away from the lamp, the one with black eyes who knows the rumba and strange steps and jumpy rhythms from the mountains in Bulgaria. If they dance together, something unexpected will happen. If they don't, the next world will be a lot like this one. So that's in you. Listen to that person, speak it today, find a way to dance with that a little bit. Oh.
Thanks, Patrick. And finally, I'd like to introduce Kim Maynard. She is my friend, also a fellow at the Mansfield Center and international practitioner of Peacebuilding. So, Kim.
So a few months ago, I was sitting on my deck with a friend of mine, and I was talking about my work with war-affected populations, and I think I was talking about Sudan. And she said, I can't hear this. This kind of crisis and talking about conflict is just too hard for me. It's just too scary and overwhelming, and I don't know what to do with it. And I said, yes. I mean, this is a really scary world that we're living in right now. We have militarization, we have pandemics, we have environmental destruction. It's really scary. And it's really exciting because there's so much that's coming together right now. There's so many people there's this global movement. People are saying, no, I don't like these institutions anymore. I don't trust them. I don't want to be a part of it. So what do we do about that? We create something else. And that's what we do as humans, is we're so good at creating stuff. And so what are we doing? We're creating new ways to feed ourselves, new ways to house ourselves, new ways to transport ourselves. We're standing out and saying, we want something different. And I love that. To me, that's what I call peace writ large. It's a big piece. So the question is what happens with this? Well, we don't know. In the future, it is completely unknown. In fact, that's the one certainty, is that we have no idea what's going to happen in the future. So we've been, a lot of us in this room, I'm sure, have been playing with this. And I think what the question is how do we prosper in an unknowable future? That's the question before us, is how do we prosper in an unknowable future? And given that, there's this thing that I like to do because I work in disasters, is this notion that disasters, if you've seen this Chinese symbol, disasters equals crisis plus opportunity. And the idea that, when we're in the status quo, when life is like it's just going on, it's hard to change things. But when you have a disaster, a tsunami, an earthquake, a divorce, you have the opportunity to really open up and reinvent yourself completely. I was in Banda Aceh, in Indonesia, where the tsunami hit in 2004. A lot of people killed and a lot of destruction. And I was invited to help them reconstruct their lives because before the disaster, there was 30 years of conflict. And the people came down from the mountains, those who survived, and said, we don't want this anymore. How do we recreate our lives? So what happens from that is that we just need to be careful about not recreating what didn't work before. We don't want to just be in charge and say, okay, we got it from here, you guys go away. Because all we're doing is recreating another divided society. So we need a new approach, a lot of new approaches. But one thing I think is that we need to get a bit out of our minds and into our hearts and into sort of this deeper knowing of what's possible and work from there. And from there, I think there's a possibility of getting to this peace writ large. And I just want to say that this is the opportunity that we've been waiting for, and that is that we now see ourselves as one human species. For the first time, we're one species. That means that me as an individual and us as a community, this incredibly vibrant Missoula community, and all those who are living on this planet, we're all working together. And so we're going from this place of the unknown to doing what's in front of us today. What can I do today? And then working towards this larger interconnectedness, and then ultimately, hopefully, peace writ large.
So, rising from the ashes, how do we create peace from chaos, confusion, and conflict? No doubt it is tempting for most of us to want a life free of the discomfort of chaos, confusion, and conflict. However, the truth is, these things are integral to the process of living. They, like all of us here, bring gifts to us. Chaos opens space in the old order so that we can see the new. Confusion helps us let go of what we thought we knew so that we can begin to understand a new story. And conflict is a sure sign that people care very deeply. So peace is actually created by the things that we most are uncomfortable with. And that's a beautiful thing. It's delightful to be able to welcome you here and have your gifts to help us with this conversation about the roadmap forward in how we navigate to peace. The centerpiece is a great reminder for us as we move through our day of this theme. The ashes represent the chaos, confusion, and conflict. And pine cones are possibilities. The lodgepole pine is very special in this part of the world for Montana. And in each of these cones is millions of possibilities of new life just waiting to be generated from fire, from the ashes. As in today, millions of new ideas possibly are waiting to be generated from our conversations. We plan today to coincide somewhat with the June 11th birthday of Jeannette Rankin. She was a spark of fire in our nation, transforming our nation to give women the right to vote, to give them a seat at the table, to fight for civil rights and human dignity, and to take a very brave stand for peace. The Jeannette Rankin Peace Center has, since its inception, been a place for dialogue and reflection on what is possible, what is real, and how can we make the connection between those things. Our Missoula community of peace folks, as I think a couple of the speakers have mentioned, is just extravagantly rich with creativity and diversity and ideas. And so I'm delighted as I see all of you here and anticipate what will be the outcome of today. Our coordinating council at the Peace Center, many of whom are here, will be listening today because we are an organization that does not take foundation funds, doesn't get any foundation funds. So you all, the members and supporters of our organization have always been the ones to drive the organization forward. And so we're listening today to the ideas that you come up with, and the conversations and the issues that are important to you, to help us create a new story, new understandings, and a new engaged and connected community. So thank you for being part of those discussions. I first met Harold Shinsato when shortly after I was the director at the Peace Center, and he talked to me about open space as a methodology for bringing people together just in this way. I was intrigued and actually hooked. So after, I don't know, nine years, I'm delighted to be able to introduce him today as the facilitator for our Unconference. Harold.
So, this is actually a meeting format that's used in corporations and companies and all kinds of activist circles, and it's not your typical meeting format. How many of you have met in a circle in a company? Done open space before? That's good. So raise your hands high, because who hasn't done, well, the people who haven't done it before, if you're confused about how this works, just notice the people who raised their hands one more time. So think of them as a resource if you aren't clear, because I'm not going to be perfect in this. So to get started, I just want to get a little glimpse of my role. So we had a couple warm-up speakers. If you guys been to concerts, you know the warm-up band? Guess who's the main speaker here? It's not me. I'm your mic check person. I'm your technology guy checking to make sure the wires are connected and make sure you know how to use the mic. So picture yourself in the green room at the Letterman show or something. You're the main guy about to come on, and we want to make sure you know how to do it. So the way we get started is to think about, or rather, I'm in my head, get into your heart and be present and look around the room and notice yourself. This circle is the main speaker. All of us. So I'm walking in a circle in a way so that you can look past me and look at the other people in the room. This room is full of gifts and treasures. Part of your job individually is to find those treasures that are relevant to you right now and in what you're going to be moving forward into. So if you're feeling some anxiety and uncertainty about what's about to happen and how you're going to play this game, that's good. And to help you feel a little bit more anxiety, here's our plan. Which is we don't have one. We're delegating that to you. So you're going to fill that up. And in a moment, I'll be inviting you to step forward and fill out these little sheets. And I'll describe how that works shortly. But there are first a few little things to know about open space. Normally I tell a story of the founder, Harrison Owen, and his 2 martinis and his despair at having spent a lot of time organizing a conference, and people tell him the best part were the coffee breaks, the one part he had nothing to do with. But open space is becoming less and less of this bizarre, weird little thing. Normally when I go and do that, like raise people's hands who've done this before, it's like 3%. And it's just growing more. And I'm glad that lots of people here know how this is done. So there's a few principles involved, 5 principles. I'm thinking it's kind of more like 6 principles in the 6 directions. And I have them in the order from north. Whoever comes are the right people. So when you come and host a session, as you're thinking about something and stepping up and taking responsibility, well, open space is a lot about taking responsibility for what you feel passionate about. There may be no one that comes and joins you. So there are a couple things you can do. You could just not do the session, or you could spend the time thinking about your topic, being present to it. And who knows, people might show up. You might be just ahead of your time. That's common, actually. I've done that a number of times, and oftentimes, sometimes it's just part of the deal. Next principle is, I consider this to the east. Whenever it starts is the right time, like a sunrise. So we do the things by the clock a lot in the West, and we divide and chop up time. And unfortunately, we've got time markers there, and I think there's some value in that. But you can't dictate spirit, and spirit will show up, and it'll come when it feels like it. So let go of your expectations if you're going to stand for something that you want to take responsibility for. And if it's 5 minutes late, or if it starts ahead of time, or it starts as you're walking towards the bathroom, or whenever it starts is the right time. And then the next one I consider to the south, like thinking like the daytime or the summer. Whatever happens is the only thing that could have. So when you get into your session and you start doing things and things go to the south maybe, just be with what's there, be with what happens, and accept the gifts of what's present in whatever happens. And then this fourth one, to the west, whenever it's over, it's over. I consider this the anti-zombie principle. So don't keep beating a dead horse. I mean, if you're done, you don't have to go out till the end of the time box. Just recognize it's over. Sense when it's over. Sense when you no longer feel passion and responsibility in that. And then the last one there is whenever it happens is the right place. That's actually a new principle that was added after Tahir Square. So that's relevant here. There's lots of spaces we can generate. If some of these run out, there's a couple outdoor spaces. You can go on a walk. And think that this can happen beyond this event. It's not necessarily just here that's going to be happening. Many people talk about these principles as just being the truth. It's just the way the world works. Just don't always present to it. It'll be a lot more powerful experience if you kind of remember some of these principles. And the last one's the law here, the law of 2 feet. This is really important. And for those of looks like we're all mobile here. Some people call it the law of mobility and responsibility. So this is a really critical item, and many people think of open space as the law of 2 feet, which is, if you ever find yourself in a place where you're not contributing or learning, it's your responsibility to use your 2 feet and move yourself someplace where you can. If anything that you think should have happened today didn't happen, it's because you didn't bring it. So don't allow the space or other people to dictate your experience. Use your 2 feet. And so this is not necessarily normally polite behavior, but in open space, it is extraordinarily respectful. You don't have to go into drama about it. This is not what I wanted to have happen. Fortunately, I've done that before. But just bow to the space and gracefully exit. And so that's the law of 2 feet. And there's one other principle that I didn't list in the 5 because it's not normally in the 5, which is actually usually they do those after the animals. So let me do the animal first. So the law of 2 feet creates 2 roles in open space. These are valid roles. If you adopt these roles, that's good. And those are the 2 bugs. If you want to be a bug, you can be a bug today. That's the butterfly and the bumblebee. So the bumblebee is a creature that doesn't stay in your session. It says, oh, I need to go somewhere else, and it goes somewhere else, and it gets a little pollen, and then it cross-pollinates. It cross-pollinates sessions. Sometimes, actually, I've heard someone say in an opening that they'll say incendiary statements and get everyone riled up, and then they'll leave. This is an acceptable role in open space. So if you see a bumblebee, welcome it, and welcome it to leave as well. If you find yourself in this role, be aware. I think this is important, because I love being a bumblebee, and it's a lot of work. So watch your own energy and don't contribute to colony collapse disorder. The next role is the butterfly. And I used to hate this one. So the butterflies have one role in life, which is to be beautiful. They're like mobile flowers. They move around, but they don't come to your session. In fact, they don't come to anybody's session. How dare they? They think they're so special. They are. They're just beautiful. And the butterfly has an interesting role in math, and I'm a bit of a geek, and I like to bring this up because that's where I am, who I am. So in chaos theory, the butterfly is actually can be incredibly impactful. It's something that's talked about, like extreme sensitivity to initial conditions. And the way that this metaphor is spoken in chaos theory is that a butterfly flapping its wings on the other side of the world could cause a tornado where you are. So don't underestimate the value of little things like what Patrick beautifully invited us to do. Sometimes just taking a few breaths in your place, change the whole universe. I think this is probably as enough as what I need to say about that and get off the stage here. So the bee prepared to be surprised. Thank you to Chris Byer's daughter for the inspiration for that poster and drawing much of it. It's adorable. And I want to thank Chris also for helping me be here. I had proposed this to the board at the Jeannette Rankin Peace Center like 5 or 6 years ago. And Ethel kept bugging me, where's my conference? I'm sorry, Ethel, but when Chris told me she'd been to a conference and knew what open space was, I thought, oh, I have someone who can help me do this and not have to do it, convey the whole story by myself. So after Chris's encouragement, this helped get this together. So let's get into it. So the reason why be prepared to be surprised is here, to me, that's like the sky. It's a possibility. And wherever it happens is the right place is the ground. So those 5 principles in the be prepared to be surprised are like the 6 directions. And so the way this is going to work is I'm going to leave you, and you're going to be in charge. And I should say one more thing first before I do this. 2 more things. So after lunch at noon, and it's just going to be a working session, so we're not going to interrupt anything or anyone going to come up and control things just lunch will arrive and you can hold a session at noon or not. And then at 4:30, after session 5, we'll be reconvening here. It's really valuable and important to ground this experience, to come back as a community in oneness. It's really valuable and important. And Chris and Kim, they'll be doing the closing circle with us. And so the other thing is the newsroom. I should explain that poster over there. The newsroom plays an important role in open space. We're not just about having a good time. We want to share our learning. So Harrison Owen gave away open space. It's not patented or licensed or anything like that. You can't get certifications that give you permission. Everyone's authorized to do this. This is actually quite easy. Any of you can bring this to your communities. But we want to be able to share it. So when you come up here to do a session, you're going to be responsible for showing up at your session and making sure you or someone else will take some notes, collect the people who have the passion to show up, because that might be valuable to someone who was curious about what happened, or just for the people who were in the circle to remember who was there. And you can bring your notes. There are flip chart papers around the space, and you can draw what you talk about on the flip charts, and bring your flip charts to the newsroom. We can take pictures of them and get them into what's called the proceedings. Like in a traditional conference, you have proceedings. You're author of the story going forward, that the coordinating council can reflect on, instead of just having to remember or ask Betsy. Okay, so let's get into it. So what you're going to do is you're going to step forward and you take a piece of paper. Some people like to write on the floor, and for those who don't, there's clipboards here. And then you can write your session, find your chair or here, and make sure you put your name on it. That's very important that you identify yourself on this for reasons that I'll explain. And then after you do that, you will come to the mic, or just say it loudly enough, and announce your session. Try to keep it brief, no PhD dissertation or anything. And then come over here, and these Post-its are like little space reservation tickets. So you'll see letters here on the map. This map, unfortunately, is kind of reversed. But we couldn't put it on that wall, it'd be too far. So A is there. You can see the letter A in orange on the window. And B is there, C is there. D, E, and F are downstairs where you came in. And G is a weird place. It's kind of under here in the office. It's a bit of a cavern. This will have a projector and a screen if you want to do some kind of show and tell. That's the place you probably want to go. If you can't get here because someone else has it and you can't do something, then we do have another projector and we can work out something. And also H. I put H here for outside, but there's no H there. But if you want to do H, you can. There's a couple blank guys here. You can draw an H on it, and we can create more spaces if you want to be somewhere else. So you'll put this on a piece of paper. You'll get one of these. Where'd they go? We had someone make 50 little blue pieces of paper for the wall, and they're all gone. Chaos. So there's 3 here. We'll have more. And you'll grab this, and this is a 1. So the yellows are the 1s. The 1s go here. And if you need to go down to there, then just go down a little closer to the floor. All right. So that's the way it's going to work. And I'm going to put the mic down. And if you have any questions,
The ones pertain to a time?
Session 1.
yeah, see those little Post-its next to the 1? 11 a.m., noon, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30. And if you have any other questions, just come to me. Let's just see how it works.
Anyone know where the blue tape is?
So I have a previous conflict, so I am gonna go play music at the farmer's market, and I'll be back at lunchtime. But I would like to offer a session at 2:30, session 4, and I have, it's a collage process. I have hundreds of little images that I've cut out over the years that are laminated. And then there's backgrounds that you can put the images on. So it's all there, kind of like our unconscious mind, just these images waiting to be put together in a collage. And I think the prompt that I would like to share for today is, envisioning the world that we want to see happen, or what gifts do we bring to this world, or something like that. So we're actually going to meet over in the classrooms on the other side of the bathroom, and it doesn't have a, it's H or I. So that will be at 2:30. And if you are curious about it, you can come after lunch and see all the images set up. So I need to rush off.
Thanks everyone for taking your seats, and for those who created notes, put them on that table under that newsroom poster there. Thanks everyone who's done that. You can also email if you just want to write up something about what happened. Email it to peace@jrpc.org. That email address is also on that poster. And for those of you that enjoyed this process and might want to be part of help making it better, we're going to be having a get-together at the Imagination Brewery Friday the 19th at 4 p.m. Email us at email peace@jrpc.org if you have questions. We'll also be sending an email about it later. And handing it over to the closers.
My name's Chris, and my all-time favorite thing to do is have conversations. Can you guys all hear me? Is this working? Yes. I'm used to having conversations with my kids because I've homeschooled for 25 years. And I also love to have conversations with my books, but they don't talk back. And so this has been a real treat for me to be with all of you and to be with some of you, to get to know you and have conversations with you. We have a gift for you all on the way out. There's the Jeannette Rankin Peace Center has a bag for you, and a woman named Carol. Are you still here, Carol? I am. Here she is. Carol put together this bag with a candle and a peace crane in it for you. So grab that at the table. Now it's really working. If everyone would stand up just for a moment. Let's all thank all of you, each other, for your hard work today and all your wonderful conversations and your energy. And thank the sponsors, and thank the organizers, thank Jeannette Rankin Peace Center and Betsy, and thank all the volunteers that we had today that made this such a wonderful event for all of us. So if everyone would clap. And how many of you would do this again? Raise your hand. Wow, wonderful. So I wasn't the only one that thoroughly enjoyed this. That's wonderful. Thank you all. You can sit down if you wish. If everyone would take a deep breath and really come back into this room as a group, as a community, friends, maybe there's some family members here, people from Missoula, people from Helena, people from other places, wherever you're from, come back.
So to be a welcoming circle here, if there are people who are edging their ways in, we just span out the circle. It's much more powerful if we can all sit together in the circle.
And there's a chair here.
There's a chair here. I'm here. Everybody move your chair back 1 foot. Another foot.
And everyone's going to need a pencil and a piece of paper. So if you didn't get a pencil and piece of paper, would you raise your hand? So we want to come back as a group, a community, peace lovers, friends. So you can either close your eyes and take a few breaths, or consider our metaphor. Take a deep breath. One more. And just feel the floor. Feel your chair supporting you. And think about our metaphor. The ashes are like the aftermath of a fire. And we have a beautiful lodgepole pine, which to me represents new growth. The tiny seeds are hidden inside these pine cones, and the only way they're released is in a forest fire with extreme heat. And sometimes that's conflict, and sometimes that's confusion in our life, and sometimes that's chaos. But those seeds are what we did today, or what we started to do today. So ask yourself this question. What is burning inside of you that you can't wait to take home and let it sprout and change our world? Something you learned today, something that you can't wait to take home and bring forth. Could be a tool, a connection you made today, an epiphany, a new thought, a project that is formulating within your soul. Take a deep breath. Think about that and then write it on your paper, please.
So when you're done, I invite you to stand up with your paper. You may stand up with your paper. And we're going to have a chance to share so that we all are bringing in sort of this diverse excitement and diverse things that we've experienced today into the room and be able to share it and create that kind of closure and community, which is what we're doing today. So I'd like somebody to volunteer. One volunteer. Okay, Will. Here's how this will go. So you can stay where you are. Right back. Oh, sorry, Mike. Mike. Who was over there? Sorry. Yeah. Got it. So Mike will say what his burning share, if you choose to, share what your takeaway is. And if you resonate with that, feel like that's the same thing that you put down on your paper, then Mike will sit down and you may sit down. And Mike will pass the mic to the next person, and the next person who's still standing will do the same thing. If you resonate with that, you may sit down. So that our statements are all heard. Everything that we've taking away today is all heard in the room. And if you didn't write that down, but you still think, yes, I got that too, then you can do this. Whether you're standing or sitting. So then we know that, oh wow, that really was a big deal here today. So does that make sense? Practicing? Okay.
So I'm Mike, and I wrote down one word and then I supplemented it with a couple others. The word that stuck with me is to create, and then underneath that I put community and art. Oh.
I'm standing, if you get this one. So what I wrote down was sharing our gifts with others.
I'm Lawrence. I'm the latest comer, I think, to this circle, but thank you for welcoming me here.
Speak up.
I'm Lawrence, and I'm a latecomer to the circle. Thank you for welcoming me here. Here's what I wrote. Enthusiastic and unfettered participation in what the world asks of humans being human.
I'm Tommy, and I put, can you hear me? Oh. I put staying in balance and being an active member of community.
I'm Bob. My voice went somewhere. I'm Bob. I wrote be joy and emanate joy.
Gee, I didn't know I was going to have to read this. I'm Maura, New idea, new question. It is a privilege to look at the darkness in this world from this place of comfort. We all live in a privileged life here, in this country, in this place. How can this be transmuted into global healing energy?
I'm Claudia. I wrote connection and acceptance.
I'm Walter. I didn't actually write anything down, but what I take away mostly is taking responsibility for who I am.
I also didn't write anything because I can't figure out which is the most important thing that I've learned here, but almost everything everyone said rings a bell with me, so. Oh, I said I haven't written anything down either because there's so many things here that I've learned that I don't know which one to put first, but everything everyone has said already has been great, so I'm just going to leave it at that.
I'm Keiko. I just wrote 3 words. One, healing, and next one is restore, and next one is regenerate.
I'm Steve. I wrote, community is a pre-existing condition that we can choose into at any time.
I just wrote 4 words. I'm Jessie. I can do it. No matter what the challenge is, I can do it.
Yes, you can. I'm Sandra. Building community, inclusiveness.
I'm Rebecca. Neighbors are friends.
Paula, wisdom from the divine light.
I'm Gail, and there was so much here, but I put listening to everyone, hearing other perspectives.
I'm Sonal, and I wrote, this is what I heard at the very beginning of the day. Where there is conflict, people care deeply, creating the opportunity for peace.
I'm Joan. I am so impressed with how many people understand the need to embody and model peace and the path to peace, kindness, joy, and peacefulness.
I'm Harold, and I kind of knew this already, but just really got to see how amazing Montana is and Missoula is, how many treasures are in the people here. I love the self-care. Being aware of taking care of oneself is really important when we're taking care of the rest of our community. And something I keep having to learn again and again, but I kind of am sensed that here is the being able to let others help and do some of the work, so we're not carrying all the burden. You know, that was wonderful to experience today. Learning and listening. That's something from the Peacemaker Circle that that just being able to hear each other might be hard work emotionally, but it's really powerful. And I wrote this storytelling ninja, something with Sue about being able to, there are people that know how to tell stories well to move us into the new story, and being getting people who are good at that helping us would be really wonderful.
Hi, I'm Wynn. So much of what everybody said already resonated. I would only like to add on the subject of inclusiveness that if you look at the diversity, you can actually see, if you look closely, how it all kind of goes back to one and to unity.
I'm Joshua, and I wrote,
openness, willingness to understand, to change.
I'm Megan, and I wrote, allow, perspective, rewrite myth, tell old stories from another point of view.
Well, I totally agree with the folks who said there was so much I didn't know what to write down. I did manage to scare out a few words. I wrote, be present, listen to find and build community of change in unexpected places. And my afterthought that I didn't write yet was just that we make each other so much better. And when we have these experiences, it's not some projection, it's real and we know it. And I just love the strength that gives me, and I hope you all share it.
Experience I had that was pretty powerful was the experience of inhabiting my own body and be centered, and how it makes a difference when you act from that place. It was really a powerful experience, thank you. And a second thing was, I'm inspired by what I heard here, and something that is very dear to my heart is the topic in education, and it was mind-blowing on how much people are doing already, and kind of gives me a little bit of energy to, a little bit of a path to maybe I know what I'm going to do next. Even if it is really tiny, really small, it's really great.
I've had a dream and a vision for quite a while to make a video, which is a dance of seduction that will seduce corporate leaders and political leaders and back to their humanity and back to their hearts and back to their bodies and their place in the world. And I committed today with Rain to do it by the end of the summer.
Acceptance leads to community.
I'm Ira, and I simply wrote down that after this, I have committed that I will practice acts of kindness randomly, which means at every opportunity.
I'm Stefan. I wrote down widespread adoption of cargo bikes for food shopping, delivery, and distribution.
Whatever that is.
I'm Carol. I wrote down community, kindness, and peacefulness.
I'm Rusty. It is not my place of peace, but how I got there.
I'm Dana, and I wrote more connections to spread hope and healing and build greater peace.
I'm Maggie. Bring together all the elements to have Missoula designated as a city of peace.
Dick O'Connor. What I would have written down after experiencing this today is internet and organize. This group here informs us that across this nation there have to be millions of people who are in this kind of a space, hoping, desiring peace, but being subverted away from it by forces that we need to find a way to impose the will of peace. And I think the internet is a unprecedented tool that will allow people like us to become organized in a way that's more effective than like the Occupy Wall Street movement, where we can actually come together and design some effective tools to become very potent in how we begin to press our desire for peace on this planet. And so that's what came to mind for me.
Wow. Is that on? Powerful stuff. Thank you. Thank you. There's space and time for any other burning comments. What's coming to me about this and what we've just shared is how we really are coming from the individual to the community to the planet with all these different issues, and they all add up to peace in some way. And it just, to me, it just feels like this huge space that we've opened up here, and I'm just loving it. So I want to know if there's anybody else who has any other burning comments you want to put out here to the community or into the space, because we have a little bit more time. And if not, that's fine.
Well, when I saw the theme, Rising from the Ashes, the legend of the phoenix obviously came to mind, and I thought the legend would be spoken here, you know. So since nobody has, I'm going to tell you the legend of the phoenix, and it's a beautiful legend. It's about this bird, and it's just this average bird, and it's in its nest, and the nest lights on fire, and it's laying there in its own nest on fire. So basically its home base is lit on fire, and as that bird crumples up and dies in its own fiery ashes, something magical and mystical happens, and it rises up from its ashes and becomes this beautiful phoenix bird. And it flies on its own wings of fire, and it's beautiful. And that's what I thought this was going to be. So let's be the phoenix bird and rise from our ashes and the ashes of maybe what we help to create, our own environment that we help to create that may self-destruct, and we can rise from those ashes and become the phoenix.
Any other burning comments?
Kind of along those lines, in a sense, if we are that phoenix, what is it that's coming back to life? What is that is an individual piece of who we are? This is how I see it. It's who I am finally kind of breaking forth from one of those little pine cones, and not just being a gift to me, a light for me, but for all of us. And we can see that light within each person here. And what is that that's coming forth? What is it that is coming back to life, that has been hidden all our lives, or been hidden for a long time, or been suppressed or oppressed or whatever, what is it that I am that needs to come forth? What is it in you all that's coming forth? Because I see beauty and I see all these wonderful ideas and these seeds that are the solutions that our world needs. And I just really am grateful for every one of you for being here and sharing and being who you are. And letting me be who I am.
I would just add to that the participation, because our participation in what's happening is so much more important than an actual solution or resolution, but just being active in these communities and establishing these connections and always learning and growing and listening and hearing what we haven't been able to hear before.
I want to ditto that, Reen, that it's the end goal is the action in the moment. And also, I just want, this is really a word to self, because I definitely need this repeated in my mind, and if any of you come in across me in town or elsewhere, if you'll just remind me that and I will remind you right back, that everything you need to be yourself in the world is available to you. You may have to dig a little bit, you may have to get creative, but everything you need to accomplish the vision that you hold in your mind's eye is available, and you're fully supported to do so. That's so alive and well in this circle.
I was afraid coming today that we would be discussing the topic of this talk, that there would be lots of focus on the chaos and the confusion and the conflict, which we all know is out there, and most of us could outline it greatly. But I want to build on something that was said at the very beginning of the day, that in addition to the chaos and the confusion and the conflicts, there are a tremendous number of really exciting things going on in the world. And we can build on those. We don't have to completely invent a wheel, but you have to work to find out what those things are. You have to be looking at the alternative media. You can't get it from the front page of the Missoulian.
The theme I'm gathering has to do with reflected in this myth of this legend of the phoenix. The fire and what the fire can yield in terms of potential. Is that right? I have a thought in connection with this, and I've come across it from a man named Stephen Jenkinson that I've been paying attention to lately. And here's the thought. The cost of learning is what you know.
I just have to say how nice it is to be in Montana again, and just how the land really comes through all the people that are here. It's just so, it's not refreshing, it's really something you can rest in. I really, it's really great to be back even just for a weekend. Thank you.
Okay, we have one more fire invitation here. First, I want to invite you to the reception, which is in the courtyard, and there will be food and drinks and music by Lawrence Duncan. And the second invitation is to follow up with all of these cool people you've met to go and get their phone numbers and make sure that you have contact information or follow up with an idea. And the third invitation is to take these papers that you have, and there's a fire out there, and you get to put them in the fire and let them go into ashes and rise up into the universe and make it happen. And our final invitation to you, Harold mentioned it earlier, is that on next Friday, the 19th, there will be the organizing committee will get together to talk about what happened, but also to talk about what's next. And all of you are invited, anybody who wants to join, and it'll be at Imagine Nation at 4 o'clock. So with that, let's all reach down on either side of your chair, reach down and grab some virtual ashes and rise up from your seats, from the ashes, throw them into the air and yell, peace! Peace!